Hey, I'm Adam with Adam's Welding Videos. Today I come to you from my place of work, Lakeston Muffler. This is where I work when I'm not out working on the welding rig. Today's video will be about safety, as in the protective equipment you'll be wearing, how to safely use some of the tools you'll be using in the field or in the workplace. Hey, if you like our channel, like the videos we post, and like our content, will you please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, and click that little bell icon so you get our notifications. Now without further ado, let's go out to the shop. Now first and foremost, the most important part of safety is your safety equipment that you're wearing, which should be one, a cotton or other natural, non-flammable clothing. Synthetic, if you're wearing it, a spark hits it, it's just going to melt right to you. The next level of safety equipment you should be wearing should be a pair of heavy pants, because you should never be welding in shorts. If you're welding in shorts, you could get burned, you could get sparks, you could get cut. Heavy duty pants help prevent that. You should also always be wearing boots of some kind, preferably steel toes, so that way if you drop anything on your feet, your toes are fine. The next line of safety, and what is actually the most important part of your safety equipment, is safety glasses. They're what keeps your eyes safe. Without your eyes, you can't weld, you can't do anything. After that, the next line of safety is your welding helmet. Your welding helmet is what allows you to be able to see what you're doing as you're welding. It doesn't make a difference whether it's an auto darkening like this Miller Digital Performance or a fixed shade like this Jackson. And whichever helmet you have, it's always important to have spare welding hood lenses, so that way if it gets dirty or scratched up like this Miller is, you can always change it out, get a nice clear lens so you can see what you're doing. Up next are welding leathers. I got two types here. I've got the full jacket style that give you the most protection while you're welding. I've got just the simple sleeve style that have just an elastic band at the wrist and at the shoulder that slide up over your arms. Both the leather jacket and the sleeves give adequate protection. The only difference is the leather jacket covers more, so it gives you more protection. After that are the welding gloves. Now I have two pairs of welding gloves. I've got these Millers that I use for stick welding and heavy MIG welding. I've got these Tillmans I use for TIG welding and light duty MIG welding. Now I've got these Radnors, and these I just use for general safety. If I'm picking something up that could be sharp or have a burr on it, I use these. Now that's it for safety apparel. Let's get into the safety with equipment. Let's talk about grinders for a second. This is a DeWalt 6-inch grinder that is corded. I currently have a 4.5-inch cutoff wheel on it. Whenever you're using a cutoff wheel, it is important to always use a guard and a handle. When you're changing the discs on a grinder, it is important to first unplug the grinder, and then you should use the appropriate wrench, or like this one has, you can use an Allen key. Takes a 1/4 Allen key, press in the lock, turn it till it catches. You can change the blades that way. Now, there are some wheels, whether for grinding or cutting, that require a wrench to be changed. With those, it's the same process, you just use the wrench instead. This here is a cutting wheel. a grinding wheel, a flat disc that has a bunch of layers of sandpaper, a flat wire wheel, and a cup wire wheel. One thing of note about a grinder is that the wheel or cutting disc spins this direction, which is clockwise. The reason that is important is because you should always grind or cut with this side of the disc or wheel. If you use this side to do it, it has a chance to kick back as you're cutting or grinding. Let's talk about acetylene and propane strikers for a second. These are used to strike acetylene or propane torches, and this is the old school style that has been around for many, many years that just works. You got this style here that strikes a lot better and has 3 flints on it for longer life. And then you've got this pistol type. This is what I prefer because it's quicker and easier and you get better spark almost every time. Now let's talk about the proper way to turn on and open an acetylene torch. Proper way to open up the valves on your tanks is start with the oxygen, slowly turn it, and do not stand in front of it because this regulator here, if it blows up, will shoot the handle straight out. Now first, you open the oxygen and you open this one up completely. It can take several turns to open it. We open this one completely so it seals and does not leak because oxygen is flammable. Now, the acetylene, you only open up a turn and a half to 2 turns. Reason being, if you need to shut it off quickly, it's just a twist and a twist and it's shut off. Now I'm not going to touch on the ratios of oxygen to acetylene because that you can find that information in a lot of places and each torch set's different. But what I will say is acetylene should never be turned up above 15 psi because it can self-combust above 15 psi. Now here, as you see, I have these dark tinted safety glasses that are specifically made for using a cutting torch. They're shade 5 lenses. Now with a cutting torch, you always turn on your oxygen down here completely first. Then you crack your acetylene. You hear it hissing. And you just barely crack it. Take your striker and do not use a lighter because lighters can explode from the acetylene torch. And you see how that flame is off the tip? You roll it back just slightly to it just barely touches the tip but has that smoke. Just barely is there. And you start turning on your oxygen. And you want to do it to that tip right there. Get nice, smooth, sharp tips on your different little cones down in here. You'll know it when you see it. Then you've got your oxygen lever back here. You push that when you want to cut. Procedure for turning off an acetylene torch. You start with your acetylene, you turn that off. The oxygen will blow out the flame. If you turn off the oxygen first, it'll burn back inside the tip and can cause an explosion. Now I'm going to go over chipping hammers for chipping slag off of welds or off of a cut that you've made with a cutting torch. This here is a chipping hammer. Even though it's called a chipping hammer, you don't actually hammer with it. What you're actually supposed to do is take and just drag like that along the edge of a weld to break the slag loose. I personally prefer a mason's chisel to a chipping hammer though. Gets the job done a lot easier and a lot better. One of the last items I'll show you all in this video is a deburring tool. It's always important to take one of these deburring tools and get rid of any burrs or sharp edges you have on any work pieces or parts you make, because that can cut you or someone else who handles it. That'll be it for this video, folks. Next video I'll be posting will be about a Lincoln 180 MIG welder. I'll be showing you how to turn it on, how to operate it, and how to weld a little bit with it. Till next time, keep on welding, folks.